Harrison County Community Hospital, your trusted hometown healthcare provider. We're here for you with a 24-hour emergency department, inpatient and outpatient care, and a full range of health services. Our primary care clinics in Bethany and Eagleville are here to meet your everyday health needs. And we're growing with you. Soon, we'll open our brand new state-of-the-art hospital built to serve our community with even greater care right here at home. Our mission is simple: exceptional care for every patient, every day. Learn more at hcchospital.org.
Our connections make powerful things happen, uniting individuals and communities. We are Rotary. We are people of action. With over 1 million members, we know what people can do when they come together. Around the world, generations of leaders build new friendships and help solve problems. Take action with us. The Bethany Rotary Club strives to make a difference in our community. Our projects help improve life to those both close to home and around the world. Come serve with us. Find out more at Rotary.org.
All right, CF Rainey here on Bulldog Sports TV, one of our Sports Central interviews sponsored by Harrison County Community Hospital. Once again, joined by South Harrison Varsity head football coach, Coach Coach Schoning. And Coach, you go over to Scotland County. We were talking about it a little before we started recording. A long drive, especially I'm sure on a school bus, all the way over. Probably didn't get back till after midnight. And you go over. You're coming off of a win from home Marceline. They're 3-0. We talked last week. Really didn't know what to expect. Same coaching staff, but they started different formation and everything. You guys come out once again. You take the ball, go down and score, and get momentum right off the bat. What did you think that did for your team, the ability to come out and put a touchdown up on that first drive?
Yeah, no, I thought that was huge. We knew they were going to be playing with a ton of confidence, being 3-0. They got a good squad. They're well coached. So kind of the same thing. We just knew we were going to have to, try to set the tone from the very beginning. It was a long bus ride. I thought the boys handled that well. We kind of got there a little earlier just so we could kind of get out on the field, kind of get loosened up a little bit. But I thought the boys stayed locked in really good. They wanted to take the ball again. They wanted to set the tone, and I thought they did a good job of that. Came out, things were working for us. We were able to run the ball. Tried throwing it on a play. I think probably would have scored on it, but there was a penalty by them, so that kind of slowed that down. But then we were able to punch it in. And then I thought for the most part throughout the game, we did a good job of staying locked in. Still a couple things we got to get cleaned up, but I thought overall the boys did a good job of setting the tone.
And it's one of those, and we talked about it with that Marceline game, your ability to score right before half and get some momentum in that game. That was a close game in that first half. And then in this game, momentum is so huge, and I talked about it with Andrew Sweat on the broadcast on Friday night. So you get the score, your defense is playing great, you get the stop, you have a drive where penalties kind of keep you from being able to move the ball, even in position to go for it on fourth down with some penalties. They get the ball, they're moving it a little, you get a big fourth down stop, momentum-wise.
Yeah.
You're able to come and score off that, get momentum back to go up 2 points. Then again, your defense is playing great. You guys get what looks like the ability to go up 3 scores, and they have a hustle play to come and knock it out into the end zone. And so momentum goes back to their side. Still in the first half, just a 2-score game. How do you think your team reacted after that big turnover where it looked like you were going up by 3 touchdowns and then they get the ball back?
Yeah, I thought we reacted okay to it. Obviously Brendan Hoover just getting back into the flow of things here. He was out the first couple weeks. Played him a little bit last week. Played him a little more this week, and so he's just starting to kind of get a feel for it. Hasn't had the ball in his hands a lot just because he hasn't been practicing with us. So, but you can tell just the way he runs the ball. Like, he's a really good runner. We had a conversation that said, "Hey, man, I know it looked like you had it in there, but you got to protect that thing because that's about the only thing other teams are going to try to do at that point when you're 5 yards away from the end zone on a long run like that. people are just going to try to come up behind you and try to punch that thing out. So, it was a good lesson for us, not just for him, but for all running backs, really. I would guess or assume that most running backs would feel comfortable, just have a long run like that, don't really see anyone. But you never know who's behind you. And I'm glad they're not looking behind them, but you always got to protect that ball. So it was a good lesson for us. Luckily, it didn't come back to bite us in the butt, but in a game it could, coming down into districts and play like that, like those are the little things that can either win you a game or make you lose a game. So definitely a good learning lesson for us.
And so it becomes one of those, again, talking about momentum. They finally get a drive going. They hit a couple of big plays.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm trying to go back in my mind how many goal line stands your defense has made this year
Oh
with
man,
teams inside the 10-yard line, and to
yeah,
come up and get not just the stop but get the fumble and get the ball to keep them from scoring to
you're
cut
right.
that lead in half right before the halftime.
Yeah, you're right. No, that was huge. That was huge too, because yeah, if they score there, they got a little momentum going in on into the halftime. So that was a huge stop by our defense. I thought they played really well all night long. Like I said, couple miscues here and there, but I mean, overall they're getting better. Case Morgan's playing really good. Sophomore out there for us. I think, like I said before, the older guys are doing a great job of um, kind of helping him along. Um, just the deep. I think our defensive line and honestly our offensive line. Kind of going back and forth here, but I got to give a shout out to those guys. I think they have really stepped up ever since the Putnam game. I think they've done a really good job. They've kind of taken some ownership down in the trenches there, and they have done an awesome job. So we need to keep that rolling. I think they're communicating really well up front on both sides of the ball, doing a good job. But I thought Friday night our defensive line had a really, really good game for us.
Yeah, the ability, and again, you see Team Scotland County, not a conference team, not a team you see a lot.
Mm-hmm.
There's obviously film to watch, but they came out multiple formations. They did a lot of things. I know when they were able to get some passes, it it was great concepts offensively. As far as the pure
Mm-hmm.
man, they were basically kind of rubbing some guys off and getting some guys
Oh
in
yeah,
into spaces. The great thing is you mentioned your defensive line. That quarterback didn't have a lot of time to throw, and when he did throw, there was one play I was just going back watching some film this morning. He had a guy open, but because the guy was in his face, the ball sails over his head on a big fourth
right.
down play,
Yeah,
and that pressure made all the difference. And then the flip side, you really got your running game established early, and that always goes back to not just a couple of great running backs with Craig
right.
Coffey and Mason Galloway, but that offensive line getting a push and a hat on a hat.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's kind of what we preached all week. Is like I told the line, like guys, I know you don't get a lot of glory for this, but it is up to you guys. And yeah, we got Cray and Mason, who are great running backs for us. Have been here for the last couple of years. Even the Scotland coach he was glad to see that was the last time he was going to have to see those two. So, but the line did an awesome job, and it starts with those guys, and I thought we picked up blitzes really well. They started sending some people at us, and I thought the line did a good job of communicating up front and picking up those blitzes. I thought that was big for us. So, yeah, overall, I think we're headed in the right direction. I think we are improving week from week. But I mean, like I said, still a ton of stuff we can get better at. And I told the boys that Friday night after the game, I said, great win. We did a lot of good things out there, but I think our ceiling is still really high for this team. So we just need to stay hungry and keep getting better week in and week out.
And that's one of those. It's at least easier to work on some things coming off of a couple of wins. Uh,
Yeah.
and two in a row, scoring 42 points, only allowing one touchdown
Mm-hmm.
defensively. The thing I looked at, your running game is obviously going to be the strength of this offense. But Mason Galloway getting back to hitting the gas on that edge, getting north and south, east west on that
Right.
field, but getting up.
Yeah.
He had the one play I thought he was out of bounds, and he just hit the gas and got a big play
Yeah.
early in that game along the
Yep.
far sideline. And then the thing with Cray Coffey, he's obviously the short yardage, the goal line, around the goal line. The thing I noticed out of
Mm-hmm.
him that I haven't seen a lot from Cray, and I've watched him since youth football, having a daughter that's cheered and everything. is
Right.
there were a couple times he had a little lateral movement to get around some people. It wasn't just a straight line run out of Cray, that he was able to do a shift just one step to the side and get a couple of big
Mhm.
runs, which isn't necessarily always in his wheelhouse to break off those big runs.
Right. No. Yeah. Cray's done an awesome job as far as that goes of just kind of improving his game each year. We did a ton of stuff this last winter, just working on speed and agility. And he didn't miss a single one. I know he goes out and does his own thing too. That kid. He loves football. He wants to be the best football player he can be. He's got aspirations to go play college, and he puts in the work to go do it. And I think that is one thing he's kind of added to his game this year is being a little quicker laterally. And like you just said, it's definitely helping him out because the last couple of years he's been kind of just that downhill hard runner, short yardage, great fullback type kid, but now he's kind of added that little lateral quickness to his arsenal. So it's even making him better. And then, like you said, Mason, he's doing an awesome job. I thought, the Putnam game, there was a lot of different scenarios there that kind of slowed him down. Putnam did a great job really collapsing in on us and making it really difficult on those running backs. But I thought after that game, we had a good conversation and kind of did some stuff during the week where it was like, okay, man, you gotta see the hole, be patient, but then you gotta go, then you gotta hit it. You can't just dance back there. And I think he's done a much better job at doing that these last couple games.
And so your offense is rolling 42 points in a row, two games back to back. Big, you scored big versus Milan that opening game. Scored Putnam, so you haven't been shut out. Your offense is rolling, but defensively, that was a Scotland County team that had scored a lot of points in their first three wins. They were 3-0 coming into that, and you
Right.
guys hold them to just the one touchdown. Defensively, you don't give up the big play. The thing I do love about high school, and I remember coaching in junior high and youth football, that 15-yard pass interference penalty can be your friend on defense sometimes. And
Oh
and
yeah,
you guys had a couple of
absolutely.
those calls, but ultimately, I was talking about on the broadcast as a defender, if you get caught on a double move, if you grab the
Right,
guy, it's not a touchdown, it's 15 yards.
right,
And so you guys were able to, although you give up the penalty yards on both those plays, to just hold
right.
a good Scotland County team to just one score.
Yep. Yeah. No, and we've even kind of talked about that with those DBs. It's like, guys, hey, we want you playing downhill. We want you playing aggressive, and we know that once in a while you're gonna get caught on a double move like that. And I said, worst case scenario, um, hold them, do whatever you got to do because we would rather take the 15 yards instead of the touchdown. Like we can come back from a 15-yard penalty, which we did. I think Trevor Henry had one, but was playing aggressive, came downhill hard on a hitch, and kid just kind of ran a little double move on him, and he ended up just holding the kid and tried to catch back up. And yeah, we got the penalty, but like I said, we moved on. The defense moved on from that, and we ended up getting a stop. So yeah, that was huge for us. So our DBs, I think, are feeling a lot more comfortable back there. They're communicating really well with each other too. We've worked a ton on that in practice, and just it's just about being able to not think and just play fast. And I think our DBs are starting to finally do that.
And so you get that win to go 3-1 on the season. Homecoming week, I'm sure as a coach, you're dealing with kids that are attendants and candidates and building
Oh yeah,
floats and dress up days. And Friday is a completely different day than most Fridays because
right.
you get out early and they're not really in class most of that day. You have
Mm-hmm.
the parade. And you've got a Trenton team that last year you get the win, but in overtime, and obviously they're
Yeah.
replacing some players. Um, they haven't got a win yet on the season, but a Trenton team that you can't overlook coming in for homecoming week.
No way, no way. Yeah, no, homecoming. It's fun. The community does an awesome job. The school does an awesome job of celebrating homecoming, and when it comes down to it, it's a tradition, and especially for like smaller schools like us, like it is a big deal. So, just the biggest thing for us though with homecoming is just staying focused. Being able to have fun, with the parade and all that stuff on Friday, but then once 3:30 hits. Okay, guys, it's game time. Here we go. And same thing throughout the week. Like we have all these different activities throughout the day and dress up days and stuff like that. But the boys, I mean, for the most part, I've never really had a team that I felt like was not focused for the game. Like they had fun throughout homecoming week, and did all the things. But I thought, uh, for the most part, overall, like we've always done a really good job of staying focused. So that's the expectation. The senior boys know that. Um, we know what Trenton's record is, but we've also seen them on film. They're not a bad team. I've played against Coach Hickson now for, man, it's got to be 4 or 5 years, I think. And he does a good job with them. He gets them flying around. He's a good motivator. So we got to be ready for Trenton. Yeah, they don't have a win, but they're a good team. They're big up front. They're very physical. So we know they're coming in to punch us in the mouth and trying to ruin our homecoming. So we need to bring the same intensity, if not step it up a little more.
So again, you mentioned Coach Hickson. I remember when he was at Gallatin in the GRC years
Mm-hmm.
ago, and then has been at Trenton a while. So coming in, I would assume they're going to probably try to establish the run offensively, and try to do that, or do they go multiple like we see Scotland County, or are they mainly go and try to see if they can use their size and establish the run?
No, I mean I think like they are big. They're big all around. Their line's big. Their linebackers are big. Um, so I think they're going to try to establish the run on us. It doesn't mean that they can't pass. There's going to be some play action stuff that he's going to try to throw, I think, a little bit, some screen action. But yeah, we just got to be ready to play a complete game. We just got to know what we're doing. We got to get better at what we're doing. I think we're on the right track going that way, offensively and defensively. So we just need to execute better. We just need to play. We just need to take our play up a step this Friday. Just get better at what we're doing, and hopefully come out with a win on Friday.
All right. So once again, here on Sports Central, South Harrison Varsity Football Coach Coach Schoning. Coach, we appreciate your time. Good luck going into homecoming. Congratulations on the win
Thank you.
last week, and look forward to broadcasting the game tonight. We'll air this on Friday, and excited to see the homecoming crowd and everyone out there.
Awesome. Appreciate it, CF. Thank you.